Hi, my name is Andy Hawker. I love things that go fast. I'm hoping that we can have some fun together. So join me as a fellow disciple of speed. Hello, fellow disciples of speed, and welcome again to this episode. In this episode, I want to delve a little deeper into the history of Lesney Matchbox. As you'll recall, we did an earlier episode, and we talked about how Matchbox, how Lesney got started, and it all began with the coronation coach in 1953 when Queen Elizabeth was coronated. Now, that was 70 years ago. This is the 70th anniversary this year of Matchbox. Been around a long time and done a lot of great things. But a lot of people really know Matchbox for their small cars. They were very small when they first started, and then they kind of started getting close into that 164 range and stuck there, give or take a little bit. But they did something really interesting. Backing up a little bit. So in 1953, they came out with their first 4 models, right? But within the first 3 years then, by 1956, they came out with a series they called Models of Yesteryear. And these were larger than 164 scale. They were about a 143-ish, maybe a little smaller. And they were the antique style cars. And they were really just very beautiful, very great detail. They came out initially with 5 models, but also that year they came out with what they called Accessory Pack. Now that one thing that they came out that year under what they called Accessory Pack was an Esso petrol or gas pumps with an island. And so obviously, you know, if you've got cars and you're playing with them, you start to want to have pieces that go together, and now you've got a gas pump. So the Accessory Pack and the Models of Yesteryear came out in 1956. And each year they would add more to both of those series, so they kept growing. So in 1957, they added what they called Major Packs. So now you've got Accessory Pack, you've got Models of Yesteryear, and you've got Major Pack. Now, the Major Pack was a couple of vehicles, and they were to look maybe a little bit bigger, but they were really pretty close still to that 164 scale. And the Accessory Pack was growing, and it included a car hauler. So they started out, again, with the accessory of just gas pumps, but then they decided to put a car hauler in the Accessory Pack. By 1960, they came out with what they called king size, and these were larger models. And some of those models were identical to some of the 164 scale models, just bigger, and these were more in the 132 range. So what I'd like to do today is spend some time showing you my collection of my Models of Yesteryear, my few accessory packs that I have, major packs, and king size. So let's take a look at those. So as you'll recall, 70 years ago, Matchbox Lesney produced this coronation coach. This is the first thing that they did for Queen Elizabeth's coronation, and they sold over 1 million of these little things. That huge success led them into then making their Matchbox series of cars. But what I want to show you now is really my Models of Yesteryear. So in 1956, they came out with 5 models. I have 4 of them. So this is the Alchin 7 NHP traction tractor, the B-type bus, 1912 to 1920. The real thing was produced. This is the 1907 London E-Class tram car. And then we have the 1929 4.5 liter Bentley. Now, the Bentley was a race car. You can see the number 5 on it, and would have competed in European road racing. The one that I don't have is the Sentinel steam wagon, so I'm on the lookout for that all the time. But then, you know, from 1959 on, they just kept producing these Models of Yesteryear, and I've got some absolutely wonderful pieces. And a lot of these I found, I have the box as well. So I'm not going to show the boxes today. I'm more interested in looking at the models. But again, just some wonderful, wonderful pieces. This road roller is in mint condition. Several of these are in mint condition. This fire wagon, again, also in mint condition. But you can see how many models they produced and just what wonderful detail. The other thing that's kind of significant about these cars is they started out pretty small, and then over the years they started getting bigger and you know, grew in size. Like a lot of things, I guess they just started making them more easily handled by people. But also, when you make them bigger, you can certainly do a lot of detail as well. But I've had so much fun really working on this part of my collection, looking for these cars. And, you know, they produced the models of yesteryear. Again, they started in 1956, and they produced them into the 90s. So, you know, they changed quite a bit, obviously. And like a lot of the manufacturers, they start out with virtually all metal, plastic, you know, seats, interior, that kind of thing, roofs. But then as the years went on, they started going into more plastic, really just to keep the costs down. But again, most of these are still predominantly die cast, and they're just absolutely beautiful. I'm really, really happy with the ones that I do have at this point. I want to give you a quick example, though, of what I mean by the size growing. So this is from, I believe, like 1982, this bus. So we'll put it right here, and then we'll compare it to the original bus. And you'll see that, yes, there are different eras of bus, not terribly different, but the size is dramatic. So that gives you an idea of, you know, how they started out with, again, pretty small, and really kind of right in line with the 1-75 series as far as scale goes. But then again, they grew, and they were a whole separate entity of their own. So that's my collection of models of yesteryear. I have a few duplicates that are obviously not on the table, but I'm very, very pleased with them. And I'm always on the lookout for ones that I don't have. So also in 1956, Lesney came out with their accessory packs. Now, the first one that they came out with in 1956, there was only one they produced. It was this gas pump set, but it was the Esso petrol pumps. Something kind of fun and interesting about Esso, as you know, it's ESSO, but Standard Oil in the United States was a monopoly, and when they went to break it up, one of the companies that was formed was Esso, and they just took the first initial of Standard and Oil, the letter S and the letter O, and they made the word Esso. So, you know, still part of the conglomerate, but a separate entity, so to speak. There was a way to get around it. Still sort of a monopoly. But just a fun fact. Now, this one, of course, is BP for British Petroleum. Now, this particular one did not come out until 1963. So the Esso one was red, and it had a sign with it that said Esso, but it did not have the little gas station attendant. So in 1963, I'm sorry, it did have the gas station attendant. It didn't have the green light poles in between the pumps. That's what it did not have. And then in 1963 it came out. Now I'm sad to say that I don't have the BP sign, but I did find this this gas pump island, and it did not have the attendant or the light poles, but I was able to find those from an aftermarket company that is producing those. So, you know, if you come across one and you need the attendant and the poles, the aftermarket companies can help you there. I did some touch-up paint on this. It came out really quite nice, and I'm real pleased with this one. The stickers for the dials on the pumps were intact, as were the BP stickers, so that's great. Now, Matchbox went on to produce really just a very few accessory packs. In fact, they only did 5 or really 6 in total, because they did 2 different islands like this, gas pump islands. But in 1958, they came out with a garage. And so this is the little garage, and you can see that it is missing a door. I came up on this one recently, and in relatively good condition. I'm quite surprised, from 1958. but this would be, you know, 1/64 scale. The Lesney cars would fit in here. I have found a company that I can get the door from. They're on back order at the moment, but hopefully I'll have a door soon. I'll restore this guy, take it apart, repaint it, that kind of thing. But a great little garage. This, and again, came out in 1958. Now, one of the ones that they came out with was just a box that was road signs. And, you know, they had like 8 road signs in that pack. Finding one with all the road signs today would be sort of a miracle, I think, but it would be fun. To find. They also had a double fronted store that was part of the accessory pack. They had a Matchbox car transporter. That was Bedford with a removable trailer. So that was the accessory packs. Didn't exist very long. And again, from 1956 to 1963, and then they really capitalized, I think, more on their major packs and then their king size. So in 1957, Lesney came out with what they called their major packs. So this was a little bigger vehicles that they were wanting to put into the series. And initially they kind of followed along with the 1/64 scale so they could fit in with the cars they're already producing. But what's well, I should say that first year they produced 2 models: a Caterpillar earth mover, and then the Bedford articulated truck. Now I don't have the Caterpillar, but this is the Bedford, and so you can see this guy's got a little bit of wear to him, but again, from 1957, in pretty good condition. And the truck and trailer will separate, but pretty good shape. It was a great little find, actually just quite recently. Stickers are in decent condition, so pretty happy with that guy. Along with that, though, I also came up with at the same time is the Thornycroft Antar Sankey 50-ton tank transporter and Centurion tank Mark III. Now, this came out in 1959. What I like about this is that it's actually in really pretty good condition. The tractor and trailer do not come apart. They are riveted together, but obviously turns. And the tank, amazingly enough, still has the original tracks, which is good because replacing these tracks would require drilling out the bottom swage marks on the casting, and I don't want to do that. So obviously I will never be rolling this one on the tracks, just basically leaving it as is. The next one that I have is the Fruhoff Hopper. Now, what's a little bit unfortunate about this guy is that I found it and somebody had it and painted over it. So this brown color that you see, the cab, is really supposed to be red. And then the trailers are just all silver. So somebody got a little happy with paint and painted it. A little unfortunate, but in good condition other than that. One thing that's kind of fun is this trailer does come off, and both trailers open for the dump of the grit, sand, whatever you have in the bed. So that's a pretty neat, fun little feature. Next, I have the Scammell 6x6 tractor and crane 20-ton transporter. This little guy is in pretty rough condition. You can see from the cab that the paint's really pretty well chipped. Somebody stepped on it at one point, so the bed on the trailer is broken. But it's a hard find, and I couldn't pass it up when I did see it. May try to do some restoration on it. I don't know. It's hard to fix it. You can see the crack on the bed. Hard to fix that, but for now, I love it. This next one, of course, is the racing car transporter. Now, this is a great one. You can find quite a few of these online. I've had this one for a while. You can see that sticker has been kind of come apart a little bit there. But the truck itself is in really good condition, all the tires. And you can see in the cab, great detail in the cab. And from the top, you can see that I've got one of the race cars in there. Coming back a little bit, so you can see the early ones, there was no glass, there was no interior in the cab. And then as they got bigger, they would put in, you know, the glass and then finally interior, and really start doing more detail as they got bigger. We talked about that a little bit before. In the back here, 2 race cars, room for both. So great little truck. I love this one. Now the next one that I have is it's a car transporter, and it is the Guy Warrior car transporter. And you can see it says on the side, car auction collection, so forth. This little transporter is in mint condition. I don't think this thing's ever been played with. It was in a box when I found it. Its own box from Lesney, without the top cover in the box, but it was in the bottom and it was protected. This thing is in, like I say, mint condition. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm being very careful with this guy to keep it in the same condition. All of the decals are perfect. It has all of the tires, and there are no significant paint chips anywhere. Very, very little wear anywhere. And then lastly, I have the Dinkum Dumper. And this was actually the first major pack that I came across. And this little guy is in perfect condition as well. And you can see that it's articulated, it turns, and then of course the dump works to dump whatever material in the back. Great condition, great detail, very fun. So it's a smaller one. It would fit more into the 164 as would this one. This would obviously be bigger, as would the Fruhoff, but then the others fall more into the 164 range. That's it for my major packs. Matchbox came out with, let's see, about 14 different major packs, so I don't have very many, but I keep looking for them, and they're just a fun find whenever I can come across them. So as mentioned, in 1960, Lesney came out with their king size, and these were a bigger scale set that it was bigger than really the previous things that they had done. Obviously the 1-75, the accessory packs, the major packs, models of yesteryear. These were the bigger guys, and they were really awesome detail. But unfortunately, I don't have any from 1960. I don't have any yet. The original one was the Weatherall hydraulic shovel, and I don't have one of those yet. But I do have these 3 guys right here. They're from 1961. You can see there's a road scraper and a road roller back there, and then this front end shovel. Now these 3 are pretty worn, pretty well played with, particularly this one and the road roller. But again, great condition other than the paint. You know, the metal is all pretty good shape. The little scraper still has the springs, so you know you could push down, and it would go down to scrape the dirt. You can kind of see the action here a little bit, but anyway, so pretty good condition. And then I've got a trailer there from 1961, I believe, as well. There was a tractor and trailer. I only have the trailer right now, but then they've got this great little service station truck, BP, and then the concrete mixer. And again, that one's in pretty rough shape as well, very well played with, but all the tires are there. And as you remember on these early cars, the 1-75 and so forth, it's a 2-piece wheel. So on a lot of these, the wheel and the tire could come loose and could come off. And occasionally, you know, you'll find a car that might be in good shape, but it's missing the tires. Well, there's replacement tires out there. There's companies that actually make these tires for the vehicles, when you're doing a restoration. There's a crane, and here's another different style of scraper. The Kent Fire Brigade number 15 fire truck, very good condition. Very happy with that one. The Hatra front end loader right there. And then the Dodge Horse Box Ascot Stables. It's in pretty good shape. Just one little crack on the front windshield is all. Does not have the horses, but in good condition nonetheless. Now this Dodge double dumper here is in nearly mint condition. This one I found a while back, and it's just absolutely perfect. I really do love that one. And both beds on this one dump, so you can see the action here. And of course the tailgate's open when they dump. So both in great condition. Here's a Mercedes ambulance. I'll come back to that in a minute. That's again another one that's in just perfect condition, absolutely beautiful. Here we have a pipe truck, and you can see that it's also in perfect condition. It's got the pipes with it, and you can pull the pipes off and see the trailer, how that the action on here pivots here and here to allow for the pipes to, stay straight as it goes around corners. So really fun. That's a neat little addition there. The dump truck, the refuse truck, again has an action to it. When you begin to lift it, the back end comes up to allow the dumping of the garbage, and when it's down, you just throw the garbage right there in the back. Great little truck. This one also is in perfect condition. Very, very happy with that one. Here we've got the combine. This one's got just a little bit of wear on it, but I love the action on this. As you roll it forward, of course, then the thresher part works, and a great piece to the collection as well. I love that guy. Here we've got a Caterpillar bulldozer, and the Lang crane hook, or crane. And here we have an Esso heavy breakdown truck, heavy duty tow truck. And then another, the Muir Hill trailer. I don't have the tractor that goes with that yet, but I'll come up with it eventually. But I also wanted to just give a quick comparison here. So one of the things that was really fun about the king size. Now, again, king size came out in 1960, and in 1968, obviously Hot Wheels came out and hit the market, right, with their fast wheels, and Matchbox had to keep up. So then they later that year, 68, 69, came out with their super fast wheels. But they did the same thing on the king size series. But when they did that, it became super kings. They became super kings. So some of these in this era were transition vehicles, where they had both the two-piece wheels, and then later the king size. So, I'm sorry, super kings. So for instance, this crane, the Lang crane, I have it in both. And so another day we'll look at the Super Kings, and I'll show you the difference between the two. But one is orange, one's yellow, but the wheels are the true difference. And so that's a fun thing to see where that transition was taking place and what year that was. The other thing I thought it'd be fun to do today is talk a little bit about how that Lesney was taking the same models, a few of them, and making them 175 as well as king size. So for instance, we'll just start with the little Caterpillar. So here's the 1-75 Caterpillar, and the cab would be able to come off, and a lot of times these cabs were just immediately lost. So the bulldozer that I had as a kid, obviously I lost the cab. The bulldozer got a lot of use. I came up with this one a few years ago, and it's in perfect condition. And the cab was with it. So I was very, very excited about that, and the treads are good. But as you just saw a minute ago, we also have then the king size version. So here's the king size bulldozer compared to, and these are case. I think I misspoke before, but yeah, the case bulldozer. And So you can see the size difference there, and just a great way to look at both of them. Um, Now, this larger one did not have, when I got it, did not have its tracks and did not have the cab. But again, there are aftermarket companies that do both and that do these. So I was able to get the tracks and then the cab as well. So yeah, nice way to kind of complete it again. Here I want to show you the Hatra front end loader. Now here's the 1-75 version, and then as you saw a minute ago, here's the king size version. So while these are different colors, it's the same model. Obviously, the smaller model does not have that spare tire on the back like the king size version does. But both of these are in very, very good condition, and just really kind of great to have both of those as well. Next, I just want to show you quickly the hovering dump and then the king size version. So there you are. You've got two of the same, and this one is missing the tailgate, but I have that on order, and it should be here soon, and I'll get that guy put back together. But both in very good condition as well. Just a couple more here that I'll show you. Here we have the little crane and in the 1-75, and then here is obviously then again the same guy in the king size version. So fun to see those two side by side as well. We also have the 1-75 road roller. Now the road roller, they actually came out with 4 different versions of the road roller, and the first version was styled differently than the other 3. The other 3 were basically the same, but just continued to grow in size. So in the 1-75 series, there's 4 iterations of the road roller, but here is the king size of the road roller. As you can see, as I mentioned before, this guy's got quite a little bit of wear to it. The driver was not there when I got this road roller, and I was able to again get a replacement for him at from one of the online companies that does replacement parts. One little downside here is that you can see that the tow hook on the king size is broken off. That's a little unfortunate, but that's not a deal killer for me by any means. And then let's look at the concrete mixer. And here's the 1-75. And as I mentioned before, the king size version has a lot more wear to it. However, it's got a lot more detail to it, and so it's really pretty sweet. And as you roll the truck, you can see that the mixer would turn. Kind of have to apply a little pressure here on this tablecloth to make it turn, but it'll turn, and you can see there's just some really nice detail to it here. So that's a fun one. And lastly, I just wanted to look at the Mercedes ambulance. So this is the 1-75. Now you can see this guy is pretty rough as well. This is not the one that I had as a kid. The one that I had as a kid was even in a more difficult shape. But the little door on the back opens, and these things were easy to break off. And the one that I had as a kid was broken off. So I picked up this ambulance with the thought I would probably take it apart and restore it one day, do a repaint on it, get some new stickers for it. So that's a project that's probably yet to happen. But then as you look at the king size version of the same ambulance, this one is in perfect condition. And what I love about this car, of course, is the doors open. I'm holding one hand with the camera, so I'll be very careful. But the back also opens. Now this one came with a patient in the back, so we can just dump that patient right out on the ground there. And so there's a patient on a little gurney, and it would go in the back of the ambulance. Now when I bought this ambulance, it was in this beautiful condition, and I'm very, very happy with it, because as you know, the paint on these is very fragile and was easy to chip, but it did not have the patient in the back. So again, I got this from one of the aftermarket companies as well. And I'll give you some more information about that, but on our website. But that is the king size that I have, and I'm very pleased with the pieces that I have. Some of them are, again, just in perfect condition, and some of them are in very, very good condition. And then I got a handful that are kind of rough, but I do really enjoy them. So that's it for this episode. Check us out on our website. It's www.thedisciplesofspeed.com, and there's a contact page there. You can reach out to us if you have any questions. If you want me to talk about something in particular or give you some information about the hobby or how I collect, I would be happy to do that. I hope in the future to talk some about how I keep track of my collection and what I use to identify cars and so forth. But until then, happy hunting.